Hola a todos. Hoy vamos a ver el verbo haber. Hi everybody. Today we will learn the verb haber. Haber is one of the most important verbs in Spanish. It's perhaps one of the four most important verbs in this language. El verbo haber es un verbo muy importante en el español y es quizás uno de los 4 verbos más importantes de este idioma. As usual, all the most important verbs are the most irregular ones. I don't know why that is so, but it's usually that way. And the verb haber is no exception in that. Como de costumbre, los verbos más importantes son los más irregulares también. Y en ese sentido el verbo haber no es ninguna excepción. So, I will show you how we conjugate this important verb. Les voy a mostrar cómo se conjuga este verbo tan importante. The verb haber means, in English, to have and to be, right? El verbo haber, en inglés, corresponde al verbo to have y al verbo to be. But it does not mean to have in the sense of possession, okay? For example, if we want to say, I have an apple, in Spanish we use the verb tener. Yo tengo una manzana. El verbo haber no significa to have en el sentido de posesión. Porque para decir, por ejemplo, I have an apple, en español decimos yo tengo una manzana. O sea, utilizamos el verbo tener, no el verbo haber. Okay? So, the verb haber means to have only in the sense of the auxiliary verb, okay? In English, when we have to conjugate in some tenses, we need the verb to have as an auxiliary verb, okay? For example, I have gone, I will have gone, okay? I had eaten, okay? In Spanish, our auxiliary verb is the verb haber, okay? So it corresponds to the English verb to have in that function, okay, in that use, as an auxiliary verb. But the verb haber also has another function, and in that sense it corresponds to the English verb to be. For example, when we say there is something, okay, there is, we are using the verb to be, right? In Spanish we use this verb, haber. We say hay. For example, there is a blue dog outside, okay? Hay un perro azul afuera. Or there is a storm. Hay una tormenta, right? Or there was a thunderstorm, okay? Hubo una tormenta eléctrica, right? So, there is, there was, there will be. There we use the verb haber, while in English we are using the verb to be, okay? So, you can see how the verb haber has a meaning. It can mean to be or it can mean to have, right? And now I will show you how this important verb is conjugated. Unfortunately, it is a very irregular verb, okay? So, you will see how this verb is irregular not only because the root of the verb, that would be haber, the root of the verb is modified in several occasions, but also the ending. The ending has been also modified in many of the conjugations, okay? So in all the conjugations where you don't see the ending in color green, there, that means that also the ending of the verb has been changed, right? It's not the regular ending. So let's begin with the present tense. Vamos a comenzar conjugando el verbo haber en tiempo presente. Decimos, yo he, tú has, él or ella ha. Nosotros hemos, vosotros habéis, ustedes han, and ellos han. Okay? This doesn't, we cannot translate this as I have in the sense of I have something, right? We can use it, we can translate it as I have in the sense of I have done, okay? I have eaten. I have as an auxiliary verb in its auxiliary function, okay? So, for example, we can say yo he comido, I have eaten. Tú has comido, you have eaten. Él ha caminado, he has walked. Nosotros hemos subido, we have climbed. Vosotros habéis limpiado, you plural have cleaned. Ustedes han hablado, you plural have spoken. Ellos han corrido, they have run. Okay? One thing, you can see that for this pronoun, for we, nosotros hemos, this is a present tense conjugation, right? If this were regular, in this case, it should be habemos, right? Because the root of the verb is haber, okay? So the root should remain plus the regular ending, right? Habemos. Actually, in very old Spanish, the right conjugation was habemos. But later, in new Spanish, it has changed, and now this is the conjugation, hemos. So, habemos does not exist anymore. It is completely wrong, and it is so wrong that even today, if you use habemos, it not only sounds old-fashioned, it simply sounds vulgar. Okay, so you're not even speaking in an old-fashioned Spanish if you use habemos. It's just simply vulgar, and that's all. We just use hemos. Okay, so habemos is totally wrong. Okay, hemos. So now let's conjugate in pasado simple. Okay? So I had, you had, he had. Okay? Yo hube. For example, we can say yo hube ido. I had gone. Okay? Tú hubiste hablado. That means you had spoken. Él hubo comido. He had eaten. Nosotros hubimos limpiado. We had cleaned. Vosotros hubisteis leído. You have read. Ustedes hubieron mirado. You had seen. And ellos hubieron bebido. They had drank. Okay? Now, in the simple future, vamos a conjugar el verbo haber en el futuro simple. We say, yo habré, right? But as an auxiliary verb. So let's add a past participle, right? Yo habré roto. Yo habré roto. That means I will have broken. Okay? Tú habrás hecho. That means you will have done or made. Él habrá comido. He will have eaten. Nosotros habremos huido. We will have flown or escaped. Okay? Vosotros habréis estudiado. That means you will have studied. Ustedes habrán aprendido. You will have learned. And ellos habrán leído. That means they will have read.